How's it going, guys? Well, I've been streaming this game quite a bit, and one of the most frequent questions is, how do I have so much sigils? How much money have I spent? What's my secret? And I'm going to let you know today. It's basically 3 minis that I'm using to cheese and abuse so many mechanics, push so much extra content, which gives me so much extra tomes, pushing dungeons, and it's really just these 3 minis, and then some filler units and particular leaders that I use. I'm going to share all that with you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you climb in PvE. The faster you get through PvE, the faster you can really start working into the PvP or getting ready for these raids that were just announced. We'll do a video talking about all the stuff that was announced at BlizzCon a little bit later, but I thought since the game is still fresh, let's do some gameplay for now. Let's check it out. Surprise, surprise, every content creator is yelling this at you guys. The safe pilot is absolutely bonkers OP. The best character in the game, in my opinion. Obviously, it doesn't win every 1v1. Obviously, it doesn't one-shot all the squishy units when it comes in. But it is so influential and is so versatile. Let's talk about this character a little bit. We'll talk about all three a little bit. So, the talents for the safe pilot, the gnomish cloaking device, I do think this is the best PvE talent, but I will also say coming in hot is growing on me too, because it's good in PvE and very good in PvP as well. But that cloaking device giving you that extra free shot, very powerful. The gnomish mutinizer, I just don't think that's the one yet here, guys. Maybe we'll have some interesting use for that polymorph later, not so much right now. So the description for our safe pilot: a flexible range unit, crash her into the enemies or land her behind your tanks for area damage and support. This is something I do all the time. I really use her to position either to kill squishies or to get her on objectives. Then we have her traits. She's ranged, AoE, elemental, and unbound. That unbound tag does mean she can be placed anywhere. That is a OP tag, and I somewhat expect them to nerf unbound in a coming patch because it's just too strong. And her actual stats, so she has insane damage, very low health, really low attack speed. It takes her a long time to pop off, and medium range for a ranged character. So sitting at 8.5, she definitely comes into a hard spot. If she walks up into a Dark Spear Troll, the Dark Spear Troll normally kills her before she can get a shot off, because he starts his attack sooner, and she attacks super late. So that is, I think, the most important character to build up as high as possible. Get extra stars on her. Get her talents. Anything you could do to increase her level, you're going to want to do that. Right now, my safe pilot is rare with 2 talents unlocked. I put so much experience into her. She now needs 25,000 for the next level. And she's coming in, I think, at level 20. Well, I guess right here we can see level 23. And not to mention, her gold cost only costs 3 for everything that she brings. That's a very modest price. The next character I want to talk about is the Quillbearer. The Quillbearer I didn't like at all before, and now I've used him to soar through PvE content in conjunction with these 2 other minis. So the Quillbearer has some great talents. The Bristleback deal a small amount of damage to melee attackers, and Tunnel Vision deploy much more quickly. Again, I don't really like the Bramble Burst, inflict poison on nearby enemies when merging. I kind of use this guy to beat up on bosses. And to take objectives. So Bristleback helps a lot in that regard, but Tunnel Vision allows for a functionality difference where you can quickly flip bosses around after they hit a certain unit that we're going to talk about and make that explode. So her description: surprised your enemies with unbound burrows, slow to emerge before the fight, but if you have that Tunnel Vision on, it's not slow at all. It's almost instant. The Quillbearer's traits: melee, it only hits a single target. It is also unbound. It has resistance. It's a cycle, which cycle just means it costs 2 gold or less, and it's a tank. So the Quillbearer's stats: very low damage, decent health, very mid attack speed actually, and it is a medium speed unit. And the last of our absolutely broken OP characters is going to be the Welp Eggs. There's really only one talent I think is meaningful here, and this talent is actually needed to make the Welp Eggs come into their own. Otherwise they just get demolished by single target range attackers, or a solo huntress can instantly one-shot it. But if you can drop the eggs on and you have the Flame Burst talent, boom, just absolutely dead. So this is why the Welp Eggs it works. You need to have the Flame Burst talent. Rookery and Chromatic Plating, just not it. So description: drop these eggs anywhere on the battlefield, surprise melee enemies with many fiery whelps. Also surprise them with the explosion from Flame Burst. So the traits for our Welp Eggs, they are Flying, Squad, Elemental, Unbound again, and Hatchling. So here we go, guys. All three of these characters are unbound, and what they do is going to be kind of scary, as you're going to see. The stats for these elves is area damage, so they do a cleave, very low health, a decent swing timer, 3.5 range. This is barely a ranged character, which is why they don't have that ranged trait. And they're medium to fast. They outpace the Quillbearer for sure. So those are going to be our core three. I'm literally, guys, I'm using these in every single family that I push, and I have 133 sigils. The hype is real. These characters really, really, really do work. They scale, and they should be a top priority for you guys to invest in, get extra stars on them, get their talents, like I said, everything you can do to build their levels up. All right, now let's talk about the leaders and what I'm actually filling around those characters. So I really like Tyrion. I love Consecrate. I know apparently all of the content creators hate it. I just don't see it. When this guy walks into a big group of tanks or squads that Consecrate rips people apart. I am, of course, I'm mostly focusing on PvE right now until I've cleared all the PvE content. PvP is just kind of a nice little breath of fresh air, but I'm focused on PvE. So with Tyrion and that Consecrate, I do want the shield bash for my foot soldiers. I want the Huntress. I want her going into stealth, and I want dragons. I'm kind of hiding it behind me right now, but I'll put this infographic up when I do the video. So I do want that dragon, and I want her to be a mother drake dropping dragon eggs as she's flying around. Let's go ahead and watch me tackle a certain node here. It's a heroic node. It's one of the more difficult ones that I'm currently working through. This is Punch Across Territory, and you're going to see some pretty amazing feats here. Let me fast forward through it. So this is, I forget what this boss's name is, like Ember Flame or something. This is a very difficult boss because it's super tanky units that come out at us, and that Ogre Mage giving Bloodlust makes it an absolute nightmare. So one of the benefits Save Pilot does is you can use her for elevation. And sorry guys, BlueStacks is super laggy, and I'm doing it on the emulator so I can kind of record things a little bit better. But so the Save Pilot can get up on a bridge and shoot down through the bridge, so that's super handy. Tyrion tanked it for quite a while. Our Huntress has amazing damage, and then the Dragon just absolutely clears units. Now it kind of looks like we're in a rough spot, but watch what happens when I drop this combo. So I drop the Quillbearer right behind, turn the boss around, and now the boss is just getting pegged on by the Huntress and the Save Pilot. But that's not even the main combo that we're going to be showing here. So we're going to die from this. Watch these Welp Eggs. You saw that explosive damage, plus just extra damage coming through. And now all I got to do is survive until the next round of Unbound attacks. It's really that simple. Now some bosses, they'll have a little bit more gimmicks, make it a bit more difficult. Cleaves. There's a couple bosses, especially in Ashenvale, that have like radiating damage that'll just truck your weaker characters, which the Whelps and the Save Pilot, they're very squishy, right? So you're gonna have to worry about that. But I got through those using the other characters in the deck. So as you saw, I dropped the Save Pilot not super close to the Fire Rally, and then I dropped the Quillbearer directly on the Fire Rally to turn it around. Now all I got to do is drop these Dragon Whelp Eggs. Boom, there's the explosive damage. So that's what I'm currently doing for Tyrion. And like I said, I climbed all the way through. I think that's Ungoro Crater. Yeah, the boss with the Devil Sword. And that's what I'm working through. I literally only have 4 stages left for the heroic campaign. I'm going to be ready to go for the Moonglade when it drops. Next, let's look at Hoger. So I love Hamhawk on Hoger. Hoger also gains 10% extra health each time he is played. So the reason I really like that is because he's also getting attack speed and movement speed as he's going. He becomes an absolute unit. And if he's getting that health, and he's also super tanky. So he'll go in and solo bosses. If we get to that final minute where it's extra gold, you're probably going to summon 2 Hogers, and he's going to go full supersonic and get down there. All right, with Hoger, I like to pair him with the Brute. I believe that is called Rabid. So it reduces the cost by 1, so it's now a 2 cost unit. And it gets that cycle trait, so you can put it in a different army slot. I like the Harpies. I actually do like to gain poison over the gold mine, just because the gold mine costs 1 extra. And with Hoger, I really want to cycle through the deck. Then I have the Mother Drake again, because I just love that. So let's go ahead and check out what we got going on when we try and use our Beast deck. So obviously we get a different opening rotation. I do have the gold trade on right now, but I don't really use that. I had this on for PvP. I think I was about to surrender and go turn it off. So we intercepted those drakes. We used the safe pilot last time to drop on the bridge, but we didn't pull the safe pilot in our opening shots. So instead, I dropped the drakes on the ogre mage and absolutely ripped it to pieces. I then throw in my extra units, and just when I'm about to get demolished by these murlocs and that drake, I drop the safe pilot, who does have coming in hot on her right now. Again, I must have been doing some PvP. And then I dropped the Quillbearer, but this time it's not my safe pilot or my Welp Eggs that are coming in. It's these Harpies that are making it. So that's why Harpies are really good with our Hoger. You can see I don't get very far, guys. We absolutely ripped through this boss. Hoger is my strongest deck, though. I do say it's gold everything. Let's continue on. Looking at Rend. So I do think Rend is the better Blackrock reader by far. We're gonna see Ragnaros, I think, is coming soon. Or no, it's the Dwarven Fire guy is gonna be coming soon. So super excited to see if he's gonna to best Rend, because Sylvanas did not touch Baron. Anyway, for Rend, I do like running Flaming Soul. I think this is the best for PvE and possibly the best for PvP. So he basically drops a living bomb when he gets taken down. So if he gets taken down in a big group of enemies, they just all explode. And if he gets taken down on the boss, and there's a bunch of enemies, and he puts living bomb around the boss, absolute destruction. I think I like RNG'd my way through a win on Maiev the first time on the heroic campaign with Rend, because he just dropped the living bomb and everything exploded. Anyway, I digress. I like putting him with the Pyromancer. The reason I go for the Pyromancer here, I tried to use the same units across the board, because like we're doing a list right now about the top 3. I wish it could just be the top 6. But because of the way the armies work and we need to kind of fill certain slots, we can't always get what we want. So when I'm trying to use those 3 unbounds, which I do try and do religiously, I also need to work in, I believe in this one, it was 2 Blackrock and a Flyer. It was probably something like that. Or Elemental, something around that degree. And so Pyromancer fit the bill. What else does she bring? Well, she's a grounded unit that does AoE cleave on a pretty nice range attack, and that's why I like Pyroblaster there. She just fits in really well with Rend. Then we have the Harpies. They, of course, will cost 1 less extra gold when Rend is on the battlefield. I keep poison with them. Then we have Mother Drake. Mother Drake is just so great, having those extra whelps kind of littered through the map. Let me go ahead and pull up the Blackrock version now, and we'll watch this again. I'm doing it all in the same map, so you can just kind of see how they fare compared to each other. And I don't want to lie to you guys, these were not one shots. Some of these took 5, 6, 7, 10 attempts, but then I got it done, and I only had to invest in 12, 13 units instead of 40 or 50. So I do think these unbound units are crazy. Again, we're going to make use out of that safe pilot. Unfortunately, the dragon meets us halfway there and just rips us apart. But I have come in hot, so the dragon bled out, which was interesting. Here's the big strategy. So we drop the whelps. The second they explode, I summon the Quillbearer directly on top. That would have let the whelps just absolutely beat into the boss, but that ogre mage was summoned on me in the worst time ever. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just sort of stalling out. I'm stalling until I'm able to do a big summon again. We see we got Rend going in, so I'll drop the safe pilot. Then we're going to throw the whelps in, and then we're going to follow it right away with a Quillbearer. So you see I'm going to grab that Quillbearer. BlueStack's lag is always fun. I grab the Quillbearer. As soon as the eggs pop, boom, I put the Quillbearer down. Now the boss is attacking the Quillbearer, and the drakes are just popping off. And there you see, we're going to just tear through with Blackrock. I think this one in particular, I thought Blackrock was going to be the easiest on this node, and I think it actually took the most time, oddly enough. All right, so then that's going to smack down. I think that might be it for the boss because of the bleed. Yeah, the bleed did the job. All right, so that's going to be it for the Blackrock. Then we get to the Horde. Again, I guess I'm in the minority here. I really, really like Sneed. The gold manipulation in this game is so important, and with him just getting oodles and noodles of gold, I just love him. Whenever I have to do a heroic campaign node, and I do Alliance is my favorite, and then Horde is my second favorite, because I know it's going to be the easiest time. So with Sneed, I do like Lead with Greed, gain an additional +2 gold when Sneed triggers Sneed before Greed. This just, it fills your gold up to the brim. whenever my Warsong Raider or my Goblin Sappers, we're going to talk about, whenever they grab an objective, I get 4 gold instead of 2. So I can just basically resummon. I'm filling the field with these high value units. But when we're talking about these 3 Unbound that I'm saying are so overpowered, I'm also able to do 2 cycles of those 3 Unbound units, like almost back to back. So it's really interesting how it plays out with Sneed. That's why it's so easy. So I do like, I believe it's called Saboteur. Sorry, it's a little small for me to read on my editing device right now. Basically, she makes towers do 50% less damage as she's hitting them. There's another one that makes her a siege unit. That's an interesting idea, but I'm not a big fan of it. The Saboteur I like. If she reaches a tower or a boss, she absolutely crushes them. The Goblin Sappers, I think it's a no-brainer. The rocket-powered turbo boots make them a fast unit instead of a slow unit. They get to their objectives, they get you the gold, you start doing Unbound spams. And then I like Big Bad Voodoo. I like the Dark Spear Troll. He has great range, insane damage, and he is then healing for 20% health every second. 20% health, rather. I unfortunately already got my Troll to rare, and I did not grab this talent in particular, because I was an idiot. I didn't know what I was doing. 20% health per second is absolutely insane. So he becomes an absolute unit, just healing while he's ripping apart squads of squishy units, or even just a Drake, a Griffin Rider, a Gargoyle rips them apart. So I really do like the Dark Spear Troll. All right, so let's go ahead and let's watch the Horde version of this now. And you're going to see how quickly this one goes. So right away, I get lucky. I start with the Welp Eggs. We get that popped. He pops that. I put the Quillbearer down. I throw the Safe Pilot. Then I'm going to go ahead and throw the Goblin Sappers. They're going to grab this base right here and then watch the gold. Oh, just so much gold. And then right away, I'm already ready to do the Dragon Eggs again. The Welp Eggs, rather. They pop. I'm get that Quillbearer ready. Turn the boss around. I'm now in a base race here. I could throw the Safe Pilot, but I'm not paying attention. We throw the Safe Pilot, and then that's a win. So Horde just absolutely demolish with how much gold they get and how much Unbound waves you're able to throw at the enemy. And then finally, the Undead. Now, the Undead is probably my strongest deck. It's the most technical. It can be really fun, but I just hate using Baron Rivendare because I think he's absolutely busted. He's boring in PvE. He's boring in PvP because it's just too damn good. But if you are going to use him, and you should because he's that damn good, you should use Chill the Grave, summon Skeletal Mages instead of Warriors. It makes them AoE, sorry, not AoE, makes them range units that slow. It's so powerful. I then like to use, I think this is what, Fresh Meat on the Abomination. This is just for PvE, guys. The Abomination is too slow and too costly in PvP. With the Abomination, I like to run Banshee, Wolf of the Necropolis. This is going to make the target that you mind control heal back to full life. I think this is absolutely necessary. As you're going to see in the footage, it plays out huge. And then again, we like Mother Drake, dropping whelps everywhere. You notice I'm using Mother Drake with every single leader except for Sneed. And the reason for that is Sneed's 3 army spots are Horde, and then I want to say Siege Unit. Yeah, it's Siege Unit. The problem with that is our Safe Pilot, our Quillbearer, and our Whelplings. None of them are Horde. None of them are Siege Units, so they have to all go in the bottom row. You got to actually pick them from the dungeon. So then you get stuck here. Now, you could ignore the slot, I suppose, and shove a dragon in there. I did do that for like the spider level because it's just a cheesy gimmick. But for when you're starting to push these really, really hard zones, that extra 3 levels, up to 3 levels you can get from the dungeon is really important. So that's why the dragon didn't make this list, even though I think the dragon with Mother Drake is freaking phenomenal. All right, so let's watch our Undead version. I think this is actually the fastest because what we could do right off the rip is we can just mind control that fire elemental. And I think that's exactly what we do. We throw the gargoyle. Oh, sorry, I got the gargoyle on here instead of the abomination. I'm not sure why. I think the gargoyle is really good. Very close to as good as the abomination. You want that 33% speed. You can see it races to the tower, even though it's only level 17, and it just crushes. PvP, I must have been doing PvP. Yeah, gargoyle replaces abomination in PvP 100%. But as you see with the Banshee, I stole that fire elemental. I then beat up that ogre mage, and then I go right into my unbound cycle. We get those eggs popped. We throw the Quillbearer down. And just the raw power of the Unbound deck has me already, every unit up here popping off. It's not even my Unbound characters doing it. That level 17 Gargoyle made it all the way up, for crying out loud. I Banshee, yet another Fire Elemental, just negating every single piece of strategy needed for this node. And then again, I'm just biding my time until I can do another Unbound wave. We see we have the dragons ready. We got the Quillbearer, so we need 5 gold. We just got it. I throw the dragon eggs down. They pop. Quillbearer goes right behind. And then we throw the safe pilot on for good measure. Boom, and there you go. So what I didn't show here in this footage is I didn't show all the different ways that you can absolutely abuse these characters on the defensive side. We did see the safe pilot a little bit on the bridge. We saw the whelps taking out the ogre mage. We didn't really see the Quillbearer being thrown down to turn an enemy opponent around like an enemy ogre and then drop the safe pilot. So there's a bunch of different things you could do with these characters, and you're definitely going to experience that as you're using them in your PvE experience. I hope this helps you out, because there is some big payoffs like we're about to see right here. So we're going to go ahead. We open up the reward. That's 300 gold you're getting from the hero campaign. So just put this into perspective. Instead of building, let's say 6 individual units, or let's say 5, you get at least 1 overlay. Say you use safe pilot and everything else, but you're trying to avoid, or you're not trying to, you just happen to be avoiding whelplings and avoiding the Quillbearer. Well, it's going to take you so much longer to push the harder zones. Otherwise, if you do what I'm suggesting, you're getting 300 gold for every single stage you complete with all 5 families. You're getting all of this experience. You're pushing your levels that much faster. You're going to be raids that much faster. Your collection level is going to get up that much faster, because you do end up having to level these nonsense units. Like you see here, I don't have a choice. So it helps widen your roster, speeds it up. Then you get your sigils done. You see this is going to be, I think this is the 133rd sigil here. And then we're going to work our way through the rest of Ngoro Crater this week. It should be a lot of fun. And there's just a lot of rewards you can get in the Sigils Urn too, right? We get leader choices, we get squad choices, helps you increase the rarity. It's just a snowball effect. So investing in these 3 characters acts like a snowball effect. I can't recommend it enough. And that's going to be it, guys. Whelpling, Quillbearer, and of course the safe pilot. I know this video, it kind of made like the whelplings and the Quillbearer look like the MVPs. Don't be fooled. That safe pilot dropping in hot on a turret when the Quillbearer gets on there is just as devastating as the whelplings, and even more so in the case of the single target arrowed tower, because that just opens up one whelpling egg, whereas the damage from the safe pilot is immense. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. This video ran a little bit longer than I wanted it to anyway. I hope you guys are happy, healthy, and having fun. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Share it with all your friends. Let's grow this channel. I love this game. I'm going to be pushing this game hardcore. I can't wait to cover all the news that we got from BlizzCon and eventually tackle those juicy raids. Oh, and you look forward to a guide video tomorrow on the dungeons. I believe it is now, we just had Black Fathom Depths. It's like Dire Maul now, I believe. So you can look forward to that, and it's a Horde week, so we're going to level up our Sneed quite a bit. Have a great day, guys. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.